Hey guys, so I'm pretty excited to announce the official launch of a project I've been working on called Social Stream Ninja. This is a browser extension that helps streamers consolidate chat from social media endpoints for the purpose of live streaming. So it incorporates Twitch chat, YouTube chat, Facebook live chat. Uh, the list is potentially endless, and it consolidates all those chat messages into a single dashboard, a single docking page, or a single overlay to OBS that's both interactive and also kind of intelligent. So it not only lets you select messages, so I'll switch here and we can see a screenshot of it in action where we can create a dock, which is you can see here on the top, that lets us select messages that occur in OBS. They're sourced from social endpoints like YouTube, Twitch, and they're brought into OBS that is both interactive, searchable, things like that. You can also overlay the messages directly into your video, and you can customize that. So you can make it look however you want, and you can overlay it in OBS, a consolidated view of multiple messages. You can then even select a message, and it becomes a highlighted featured chat that can pop up and overlay the video as well, which you can see here in the lower left corner. Now, to make this even more exciting, this is an intelligent plugin in that it is also an autoresponder. It can be programmed to trigger events based on incoming messages. So not only are you getting all these messages in from your social endpoints, you can actually read them, program them to be kind of usable so that you can respond to certain events and certain triggers, and you can actually have the Chrome extension or the browser extension respond to that user in the chat, which is something kind of unheard of. You normally need like Nightbot or Stream Elements, and you don't really have too much control over what those things do. This is, it's transparent. It's you're responding, the bot's responding on your behalf. You don't have to have any API, any sort of server credentials. This is all peer-to-peer, WebRTC based. It's powered by the data API functionalities of another project of mine called Video Ninja. And so it's private, secure, free, peer-to-peer, no servers, no sign-in, and it's open source. So you can modify this to your heart's content. I'm really excited by that. I'm going to show you how to install this, how to use it, how you can configure it, and some of the more advanced features. This is just version 1. Based on your feedback, I'm going to continually improve this and make more features. I'm really excited about the possibilities. Okay, so to get us started, let's go to the GitHub page for all this, okay? So you can download and access and read more about it at socialstream.ninja. If you want to reach me on Discord, you can contact me at discord.vdo.ninja, and there's a dedicated channel called Chat Overlay Support. Come there, you can ask questions. Ask Features support is free. Just go to discord.vdo.ninja and I'll support you. Now, you can see there's lots of details in the README, but to get started, what we're just going to do is we're going to go to code and hit download as a zip. There's also a link down here that does it. And then we just open the zip file and we extract the contents of the zip file somewhere. Cool. Now we go up into our browser, more tools, extensions. We need to enable developer tools. If you intend to use Twitch, I strongly recommend you install Better TTV. Social Stream is compatible with it. So what this does is it provides more emojis and more animated effects. Without that, you're going to be seeing a lot of like cat jam text messages, and you're like, what is that? What are people typing in? If you install this Chrome extension, those emojis will be rendered as actually animated images or things like that. So important to install, and it's also compatible with Social Stream. So by installing that, you'll add more effects and more emojis to Social Stream automatically. But we just have to select our folder, Social Stream, and boom, it's added. We're currently at 5.6 in this version. By the time you watch this video, there's a good chance they'll be like on version 20. So you will have to manually update at the moment. Every time you want to get a new version, the way you do it is you just remove it, download it again, reload it, and you're good to go. I may or may not add this to the Chrome Web Store to automatically download. For now, manually download it, and that's the best way to do it for now. So yeah, once that's installed, currently it supports YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, but because of my other browser extensions that are like this, for example, this other one I have, it supports Zoom, Crowdclass, Twitter, Trove, Restream. It supports lots. Any of those sites I can easily migrate over. I'm just starting simple right now at the major ones because it is time consuming. So yeah, let's go to YouTube. We can find a live video. It's important that we can access the chat and we pop out the chat. Okay, once we pop the chat out, we actually don't care about keeping the video open. But just for a second, I'll leave it open. And now to activate this extension, we have to click up here, this little puzzle piece, and we have to click on the pin icon. By default, the browser does not show the extension in the little mini bar here. So we have to pin it because we do need to interact with it for this to work. So we click it, then there's a little red icon, and we can say enable the extension. You can toggle it on and off. And what it's essentially doing is it's injecting code into the pop-out page. If you don't want it to inject code and be active, don't press that button. If you want to disable it, you can press it and it will stop it. But while it's enabled and while this pop-out is open, it is streaming all this messaging you see to the dock. Now the dock's not actually open yet, so we can open it here. You can just click on it and it opens up. And what we can see here is as people type into whatever, the messages are going to automatically update here. Right? So it updates virtually instantaneously. It's sending the messages and the images from this extension and this pop-up to this other page. No servers, right? No bandwidth limits, no throttling, no APIs. It's all free, which is a paradigm shift in my mind on how people can make interactive applications. And it's using Video Ninja, which offers a data transfer API. So with about 50 lines of code, you can add peer-to-peer messaging to any web app, which is incredible, right? It's just a little bit of a few lines of code really to get it working, and it does all the complexity for you. And that's what this is actually doing. We could probably take a look at that just quickly. So here's the line of code. And this is essentially the code we need to receive peer-to-peer messages. And this core concept is enabling that to work. Anyways, once we have popped out, we just have to put this pop-out chat to the side and it will continue to work. We don't want to close it. We don't want to minimize it. Otherwise, it will stop. If you minimize it, it may not completely stop, but it would be like it updates every 30 seconds instead of updating instantaneously. So we just put it to the side. Next, we can do this with Twitch. Let's check out Amarith, and we'll pop her out. She's a very popular streamer, which makes her a good choice for this application. Lots of messages. So we can now put this chat message to the side, and we can actually then close Twitch. And what we're going to see is messages from Twitch and from YouTube stream in to the dock, to the dashboard, and it's all pretty much instantaneous. You notice that with the Twitch faces, they're all kind of anonymous because Twitch doesn't actually show the avatars. But if you click on one, I query it. That does go to a server, and it does query an API to pull that avatar, which is why you have to click on it. It's not automatic, but not a big deal. And we'll do one more. Let's now add Facebook. So with Facebook, it's a little bit different. Facebook doesn't have a pop-out, but it also is a little bit finicky, but that's all good. Just takes a while. I just need to wait for the messages to come in. Okay, no one's typing. Okay. There we go. So, it does work. I double typed just because of the way it works. I'll fix that. But here's an example. Someone responded finally, and it finally activated. It doesn't bring out in all the older messages. So let me see if I can find someone else. Just because that was kind of lame. Let's find someone with a lot more. Nope. Is this even live? Live, okay. Live chat. There we go. Brought in a lot of messages there. Finally. And you'll see now that we have YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch all consolidated. Because there's no pop out here, we have to kind of deal with that. But we can always lower the resolution. We can even pause the video, and then we can put it to the side. Part of the reason why I use the pop out is I don't want you to visit random Twitch pages and accidentally enable messages to come into your dock. I also want to allow you to not have to kind of pull a video in to have this work. You don't want to stress your computer out more than it already is. So it's the pop out, with the exception of Facebook. In that case, you just leave it on the side. Okay, now that we have all three of these things set up and we're streaming, we can do the next part. And that is we can use an overlay. And so the idea here is anytime you click on a message, it pulls the message into this overlay. And then you can clear it and it goes away. Now we can take this and we can go to, let's say, OBS. I think I have an OBS open here. And the way we work this in OBS is we can say add browser source, drop it in. We want to set the width to whatever our width is in OBS, and we want to set the height to around 200 to 400. So I'll just say 260. Now I can put it here, and I might want to just resize it a bit so it's not pushing up against the borders. And now I can click on message. If I go back to OBS, it appears. Now what you have just seen is I had to go to the dock, this dashboard to interact with things, and that was kind of a pain. It would be better if this was all integrated into OBS itself. And this would work with Streamlabs, I think, and any other application that supports web docking. But we just copy this link, and we can go to docs in the view, custom browser docs, put that link in here, say social stream, hit apply. And now we can just drop that there. Close. And here we go. So now the stream, all the social data is coming in on the top, and I can now interact with it this way. You can see that the Twitch icons render, right? Which is kind of nice. And if someone's using a BTT emote, it will also work. So pretty much everything works. If someone donates, I don't know if anyone's donating, but let's try to find maybe someone who's donating. Pop that open and just put that to the side. I don't know if I'll find someone. Show chat. This person seems to be a good choice. Let's go back. And let's see if anyone is going to donate. If the name is too long, you can see that I kind of just make a little bit more room for it in this particular mode. Okay, while we're waiting for donations, I'll show you some buttons here. We already talked about the clear overlay button. There's also the notion that if you scroll up, it doesn't keep scrolling. It only auto scrolls if you're at the bottom of the page. But you can lock that by this little button, so it won't let you scroll up. If the chat is getting a little bit too overwhelming, or if you see a message you want to respond to, you can hit pause and you can scroll around. And any time you can unpause and it resumes the messaging. If you want to filter messages, so let's say you're doing some sort of quiz with your audience and you're saying yes or no, or there's a certain keyword you want, you can say hello, or what, maybe just hi, right? Hello, there we go. You search for someone who says hello. And it kind of tries to find loosely those words. Plinko, right? Someone's playing Plinko, so we can kind of search for the word Plinko. And we can just either hit escape to clear it, or just erase everything and it resets back. Another way we can filter messages is like you get tons of these emojis. There's a little button here that gets rid of emoji only messages. So if you're having a hard time keeping up, Enabling that mode is a great way to slow things down. Emojis take up a lot of chat space, and you can always toggle that back on if you want, right? But you have the option of showing it or hiding it. There's also an option here for sending chat messages to your audience. So if you want to actually send a message to all the social destinations you're connected to, you can do that here as well. I'll test this privately in a second with us, just because I don't want to be spamming these social sites, but I'm also not signed in, so it wouldn't really work. You have to be signed in, obviously, for you to send a message. Now, when you send a message, you're not sending it as a bot. You're sending it under your own identity, which makes this kind of unique. You're not sending it as Nightbot or some sort of server-based bot that you have to sign in for and have API credits and whatever else for. This is you, right? And so you can actually fake being yourself, kind of, right? So it's kind of neat. So I'll put this to the side for a second, and I'll show you some of the things we can do. Before we get to that other part, and that is we can customize this doc. So the source icon we can hide. You may not want that. You may want to magnify the view a bit. I'll leave that off though. I'll hide the timestamp, and I'll enable compact mode. I also want to modify the overlay that I'm doing, the single chat overlay. I want it to auto hide after 20 seconds. I want it to show the source icon, so where it came from, I want it as a little badge. And I want the overlay to be centered, not to the left. Okay. Now what happened here is that these are new links. They have little bits of information appended to the end of them. And so when I go into here, I want to actually update the doc. We can update the doc. Cool. And we can go here, we can get this. Okay. Now I changed it so nothing really is interactive anymore, or at least we don't have those buttons. And that's because of the compact mode. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to put the compact mode here. But what it does make sense to do is we can take it and we can add it down here. So we can put it here. I'll make it 900 by 1200, let's say. And I'll go back and I'll revert the doc to the way it was before. I'll get rid of all the parameters we added. So we have all the icons back. I'll make some room here. But now look. I can probably move this over a bit. If I hold Alt, I can actually crop out those avatars if I want to. But now I have a social stream added to OBS. And that's very customizable. You can customize this however you want. If the background you have is not dark, you can go into light mode, and so it makes the lettering dark. And we can look at how you can customize the design, the style more and more if you want. But yeah, this is a way for you to consolidate all the chat messages from all the endpoints into a single stream. Very cool. Not really any other way to do it effectively. And because there's no servers, you don't have to sign in with your social accounts. You don't have to give your credentials for YouTube or Twitch or Facebook to a third party, which is a huge security violation. You don't have to worry about your data being scraped, your personal information being scraped. All that is protected here. Because peer-to-peer, right? There's no servers. There's nothing in between. Now let me go to my site. I'll go to chat, and now let's play around with automation. And I'm going to essentially close all the existing pages I have open, all the pop-up windows. So that's clear. And what I'm going to do now is explore the automation. So there's lots of ways to do automation in this, but we're going to enable auto reply to hi and tell the joke. Now, auto hi has a timeout, so you can't use it very often. But let's say someone says hi into chat. This bot will auto respond saying hi back. Now, not really working in this setup because I'm the one saying hi. But you can imagine someone else saying hi and it responding back to you. But what I can do is I can say joke. And, shoot. You know what? That's why it didn't work. But we can say joke and it responds to us. You'll notice that this bar comes down when I say a message and then it disappears after a few seconds. That's required for this kind of hack to work. So if you're wondering why that pops up, when it's in that mode, it means the extension has write access into your chat. And when it disappears, it means it does not have write access. I find it kind of useful. It lets me know when the extension is doing something. But if you're curious, that's what it's doing. We do have some messages here. Now, if I want to send a joke into the room, though, I don't want to have to type the command joke. So there's a button here that you can press, and it will then just send a chat message straight up. So that's kind of nice. And the messages will show up here as well. What do you call a pile of cats? A meowton. Painful. Okay. And you can toggle that on and off, so you can say you no longer want jokes to trigger. So if we do this now, it no longer works. And let's try hi. Yeah, hi still does not respond to me. And there's a timeout, so it wouldn't respond anyways. But that's kind of cool, right? So you can do these autoresponders. You can also enable MIDI. Now, MIDI is interesting because a Streamdeck supports MIDI commands. You can drag a control change MIDI command. We can call this one, I already did this before, but let's call it lull. We'll select channel 1, because that's what this is set to, and we'll select command 102. Now we have to choose which value we want. Each value defines a different command. You can add your own, and I welcome options here. But I just, for some creative juices, I set up 3 different basic ones. So let's go with lull, which is value 2. So we can say value 2, right? And now it's set up. If you don't have a Streamdeck, there's lots of other ways to get this configured. And if you are using a Streamdeck, you'll need a virtual MIDI loopback device to make this work. If you have like a MIDI keyboard, though, you could also use that. And we can kind of customize the commands to be compatible with your keyboard so that you can press buttons on a physical device to trigger this. Okay. Now, let's do an example of this working, though. I'll open up OBS here. And I have a Stream Deck here with me. And we configured a button. So when when I press that button, I keep pressing the wrong button. We press lull, which is the button we created, and it creates a lull thing. And you can customize it to do different things. So I have a 1, I have a lull. You can even tell it to do a joke, I guess, right? So whatever. That's kind of interesting because you can program certain responses. So you don't have to rush over to your keyboard to type in something. For these things you type all the time, you can just create your own hotkey. So there are some samples that are already there. Those are the ones that I'm considering generic enough that I think they're valuable. But I welcome any additions. I'm happy to add more if you have a request. But you also have the option to customize your own. So in the social stream file that the folder we downloaded, we have these files and we can customize them depending on what we want to do. Some of the key ones, we have the index file right here. This one is very easy to edit. It is the selectable message overlay that appears. We can kind of review the CSS style here, and either we can modify this file directly by changing these hex code values. So the cheer, the comment, the author, colors, these can be modified just by editing this file, reloading the Chrome extension, and you'll be good to go. Now, when we look here, we're given a hosted file for the doc and for the index file. And that's just to make life easy for you. But if you are modifying these files, you'll have to replace HTTPS with essentially the local file name. So this would have to be like index.html, right? And then you type your stream ID in. Or if you're putting this into OBS, you could put the stream ID in. And the stream ID is this value here. You could also access that value or change that value by going into the settings here. And then you can either copy it or change it and then save it. Yeah, then you put it here. Now you have this file, and you can go to OBS. You can create a browser source, let's say, and then you can paste the file into here. And now it loads up. And so if we click on a message, it appears in our new overlay. Okay, and we can customize this however we want, because it's locally hosted. It's not even the right one. Whatever. Whatever. That's kind of the notion, at least, right? That's the one we created, actually. So if we want to change the color of this, we can. We go into the social stream file folder. We can edit the file. I should have wrong. Nope. Can't believe I opened that. Open with Notepad. And we can say, the background color or whatever color we want. These kind of colors you can change. And it will reflect on the style here. If you want to do it have a little bit of help, if you right click the overlay, there's a kind of a development tool here. It will tell you the name of the CSS file, of the CSS class that you can modify. So we can modify either author BG color, which we go here, we can go author BG color. And we can modify this. And in that case, let's say we want to make it red. RROOO. We go here. We can then hit refresh. And then I can hit the message. And now we can see that we have changed the color of that to be red. I'm going to undo these changes because I like my orange. And it reverts back. So that's one way you can stylize and customize things. And the same notion goes into play for the actions. If we want to customize the bot actions, you need to make a file called custom.js, and you need to put your actions into that. So this is my personal custom action file. I use it to do like interactive games where you can type in a command and you get a response. I can do things like what's the weather, and it queries the weather and tells the chat. I troll people all the time, so certain people like to do certain commands and I call them out for it every time they do it, which is kind of fun. It's a way to flirt, just as a viewer, it's fun. But if you are the streamer in themselves, you can also set up custom commands for like going to your merch store, or maybe making an interactive game. Maybe you want to do tic-tac-toe with your audience, or you want to do some type of coupon code or reward system. You can be very sophisticated here because you have access to the entire world, all of JavaScript, to kind of do whatever you want rather than just what Nightbot or Stream Elements allows you to do. Now, because I don't provide my personal one with the default code base, because it wouldn't make sense, I do include a sample file that gets you started called custom_sample. You just need to rename that custom.js. But this one requires the doc. So if we go here to this doc here, actually, wherever the doc is, the doc, and you'd say auto high or auto 1, whatever, and it would then activate that command. So it's auto 1. As long as auto 1's added, it is activated. You could delete these lines, and then you wouldn't have to add auto 1 on. It would always be active. And in that case, what it's doing is it's checking if the chat message equals to 1. It's making sure that it's not responding more than 1 time a minute, because you don't want to flood chat. And then it's looking for either a specific name to match against, or not match against. So here I tell it not to match against this person's name. So if they say 1, I don't respond. If this person responds, it's going to say 1 back, but flirt with them a bit. So anyone who's not those two people, if they type in 1, I'll respond back to them with 1 instantaneously, as long as they don't do it more than once a minute. Now you can customize these events and actions and make your own, just by copy pasting this several times and making different versions of it. It will kind of iterate through the entire list and do what you need to do. Okay, so that's kind of valuable. If you want to customize the MIDI commands, I'll be adding a more sophisticated way of doing this in the future. But for now, you can customize the jokes. The jokes are all listed in this file at the bottom. Lots and lots of jokes, so there's no shortage of those. But you can go here, and this is the MIDI aspect. You can create your own values. So you can say value 1, value 2, value 3, do some function. So if you have value 3, it does this function. And you can kind of copy and paste these functions if you want to and modify and do your own. Or you can have the hotkey do something other than even respond. You could have it reload the page, or even toggle the extension on and off if you wanted to, I guess. Although if you toggle it off, it no longer accepts MIDI commands. Anyways, if you want to customize that, you have that option. For me, I like having a button I can just slam down to say 1 or say lol, rather than changing tabs. I'm working. I don't really want to have to open this page up, slam a keyboard just so I can respond in time. Having a Streamdeck, and just being able to program it to have certain buttons makes my life much easier when I'm a viewer, and I would imagine for a streamer as well. Okay, I think I covered a lot here. I'll put some links and more information in the description of this video, so you can check that out. I have lots going on my GitHub. So Video Ninja, if you aren't aware of that, while you can use it for a lot of things, you can use it for streaming video data primarily, but it does so many things. And there's a new version coming out soon. But like, if we go to the camera, it won't work really, but maybe we can do things like a digital green screen, right? And we can do something like maybe dog ears, loading a model, dog ears, right? All within the browser. And you can then share this video with a friend. So here we are. I sent this video link to a friend. They can now take this link. They can go into OBS, add a browser source, drop this in, hit Control Audio, maybe change the resolution a bit, and booyah, we can then move it to the bottom. And now I'm able to bring friends in to my OBS, and their audio is picked up, and I can then, like, kind of cool. Maybe if I want to do a side by side, I can put myself here and then bring my friend in, put them here. And that's kind of awesome, because you have the option in Video Ninja to create chat rooms. So you can have multiple people and you can control them. You can add them to scenes, remove them from scenes, all through the dashboard, screen shares, kind of just the tip of the iceberg. You can also use this for development. So you can embed this into web pages, whatever. All free, all open source. So check that out as well. And join the Discord, discord.video.ninja. I support lots of different projects there. The commonality of all my projects is they all are designed to support streamers, in particular, those who are interested in using Video Ninja. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. That was an introduction to Social Stream. This is just the initial version. In a few months' time, I'm sure I'll have to make a new video, because things will be very different by then. Just because I love this extension so much, I can't stop working on it. And I hope you will come visit me on Discord and give me some feedback and ideas. And yeah, have a great time, guys. Cheers.